I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Miss Debbie, would you call the roll for us?
Mr. Hannigan.
Here.
Mr. Derman.
Here.
Mr. Luke.
Here.
Mr. Harrell.
Here.
Mr. Nation.
Here.
Mr. Jeter.
Here.
Mrs. Seeley.
Here.
Mrs. Drucker.
Here.
Mr. Betancourt.
Here.
Mr. Womack.
Here.
Mr. Hersey.
Here.
Mrs. Mullet. Mr. Kuzan. Mrs. Belisario. And Mrs. Hunt.
Here. Thank you very much. Would you please stand and join us in the invocation and pledge led by Mr. Nation?
Let us pray. Gracious Father, it is with profoundly grateful hearts that we bow before you this evening, asking that you inspire us each and every day to the task that you have called us to do, but most especially as tonight that you inspire those of us that you have elected, that have been chosen to serve in these offices, that you will inspire us to serve the parents and the teachers and the children of this parish to the best of our ability each and every day as we seek to put these children above all things. This we pray in your most holy name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for being with us this evening. As you can see, we have a full agenda. We have a lot of very nice presentations for you. And to begin our evening, we're going to start with a special recognition, which is the swearing in of a new board member. That would be Mr. Dennis Kuzan. Mr. Kuzan, would you join Mr. Pittman, please? And if your family would come forward, please.
Raise your right hand. I state your name.
Dennis Kuzan,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws
and laws
of the United States,
of the United States,
and that I will support the Constitution
and I will support the Constitution
and laws of this state,
and laws of this state,
and that I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent on me
all the duties incumbent on me
as school board member,
as school board member,
District 14,
District 14,
St. Tammany Parish,
St. Tammany Parish,
according to the best of my ability
according to the best of my ability
and understanding,
and understanding,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mr. Kuzan. Now we're going to put you right to work. All right. Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, please. I'd like to first of all say good evening to the board, to the superintendent folks and the staff. I'd like to give a special thanks to District 14 the voters who placed the confidence in me in the last election on the 28th. I want to say thanks to my family and friends and the people who are here with me tonight. I see a lot of familiar faces in the audience, people I worked with 30-something years. I'd like for them to remember that I am the new kid on the block, so you guys kind of take it easy on me. I have mixed emotions about tonight. And, you know, it's tough when you replace one legend, but I got to replace two legends, Anthony Alfred and Ray Alfred. Both did an outstanding job in this seat, and I just hopefully be able to continue the success that they did. I've been involved in athletics all my life, either as a player, coach, official, or administration. One thing I learned all these years is teamwork, team player. I plan to be a team player with this board to help to maintain the excellent system that we have in St. Tammany Parish so that all the students can continue to receive the quality of education that they've been receiving here in St. Tammany Parish. Once again, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Kuzan. We appreciate those words. The next thing we have is persons requesting time on the agenda. We had one person sign up to speak, and that is Mr. Ron Newsom.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ron Newsom. I am here tonight representing the Leadership North Shore Group, primarily to make you aware of a newly established scholarship for the kids and residents of St. Tammany Parish. At your seats, you should have a brochure in front of you that will explain what the scholarship is all about. The scholarship is named after Irma Cry, who is a longtime resident of St. Tammany Parish and who's worked tirelessly to assist students and adults throughout our entire community for many, many years. And as a result, the Leadership North Shore Group 1 decided to establish the Irma Cry Education Foundation. The primary purpose for the Irma Cry Education Foundation is to provide scholarships for our young people and adults that's primarily seeking educational opportunities to earn certificates in the vocational, technical trade type situations as it relates to education. And the primary purpose for that is to aid those individuals to be able to further serve our community and help what we're planning on doing. In addition to the Irma Cry Education Foundation, part of the funds to fund the scholarships will be coming from the Rotary Club of Slidell North Shore, of which you also have a brochure or a flyer at your place that's recognizing a golf tournament that's going to take place on May 8th. And a large percentage of the proceeds from that golf tournament will go towards funding the Irma Cry Education Foundation, of which applications for kids and adults are available at irmacryfoundation.com, and we will be selecting and approving scholarship applications starting June 5th. So we just wanted to make the board aware of that and just want to thank you for the fantastic job that you, ladies and gentlemen, have been doing for many years. So thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing that information to us.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll go on to approval of the minutes from the committee as a whole meeting held on March 5th, 2015. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes? I have a motion from Mr. Betancourt, a second from Mr. Drucker. Do we have any comments from board members on those minutes? Do we have any comments from the public? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? So ordered. Thank you very much. All right, under our presentations, I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Falls to speak on Habitat for Humanity West.
Thank you, Ms. Heinz. Good evening, board members. Ms. Heinz, tonight I'm proud to announce to you the results of our fourth and final fundraising day for the 2014-15 school year. As you all know, we now hold 4 fundraisers a year, 1 per quarter. On March 6th, the students and employees of this school system joined together to raise money for Habitat for Humanity. As you may know, this organization has both an East and West foundation, and they agreed to split the proceeds of this fundraiser. Tonight from Habitat West, happy to have with you Miss Jennifer Messina. Jennifer is also former member of the board of directors for the Chamber West, so I've had the opportunity to work with Jennifer on many other projects, and I can tell you she is a huge supporter of our school system. Next week, Habitat East will be joining us in Slidell to receive their check. Last month on this fundraising day, students were allowed to wear hats for Habitat for a donation of $1 or more. Habitat for Humanity serves our community, and of course you know they're known for their concept of giving people a hand up, not a hand out. Habitat helps families in need by providing houses, but each family who gets a Habitat house has to earn it through sweat equity hours, helping to build their own home and others. They also receive training on the responsibilities of home ownership, and when their work is finished, they become proud home owners. Tonight, we are pleased that we could partner with this great organization to help out families in need, many of which who have children in our school system. So at this time, I'd like to ask Jennifer to come forward, and we would like to present a check to you, Jennifer, and I'm proud to announce that our school system, our students and employees, raised $10,052.34 for Habitat West. So that means as a school system, we raised over $20,000 as a school system. Oh, yeah, here's the real deal. That's what you really do. Yes.
I'm sorry, I hate having my back to everybody, so just know I'm talking to y'all back there. Trey is correct in when we say that there have been I represent Habitat St. Tammany West on the west side of the parish. Our particular affiliate has over 400 children in this parish that have either already grown up in a Habitat home or currently residing in a Habitat home. And so what that means, it's giving these low-income families an opportunity to really advance in life. And Trey is correct in saying that the parents of those children have purchased their home. It's just a zero-interest mortgage. So most of those families are your hourly waged employees in this community, and now their children have a greater chance for success in the future. So it really integrated well with everything that the school board does here. Thank you to all of you. Thank you to all of you that participated. And Trey, thanks so much. I have goosebumps, so I can't talk anymore. So thank you.
Thank you. I think through these 4 fundraisers this year, we've netted almost $100,000
Correct.
to our community, which is just marvelous that our students and our faculty have been willing to support those charities, and we're very happy that we can do this for our school system, or from our school system. All right, the next presentation will be elementary fitness meet. Ms. Sharp.
Good evening, Mr. Foles, Ms. Heinz, and board members. I am pleased to give this year's report on the 5th annual elementary fitness meet, which was held at Lakeshore High School Stadium on Saturday, March the 7th. This year's games were kicked off by Assistant Superintendent Regina Sanford. The field announcer was Coach Larry Favre of Slidell High School, and the head official was Coach Andy Thiel from Lakeshore High School. The top 4 athletes from each elementary school marched around the track before competing against each other to win the chance of representing St. Tammany Parish at the state fitness meet. Before I announce the winners, I would like to share with you a video produced by Channel 13, which gives you a glimpse of the excitement and enthusiasm that was evident that day.
Good morning, athletes. We are here for one purpose. Let the games begin.
All right, runners, take your marks. Set.
It's our 5th year for the elementary fitness meet. We have 21 schools that participate and about 84 students that actually make it here to Lakeshore High.
We feel that physical fitness is very important for them to not only participate, but to excel.
It's just a measure of overall fitness. They don't have to be great at soccer or football or basketball, but just that they value being physically fit.
It's a beautiful sunny Saturday, and these students are active athletes representing the best of the best.
So the top 2 boys and the top 2 girls from each of our participating schools get to come here to Lakeshore High and participate as a district. Our top 2 boys and our top 2 girls make it to the state level, and we participate with between 17 and 19 other school districts for the top 2 boys and girls in the state.
Last year we were very fortunate to have a state winner. We anticipate that we have the best athletes in the state, so we're hoping for a new winner this year.
We're hoping that this physical fitness meet for our elementary students will continue to carry through them for the rest of their lives. This is kind of one of those stepping stones for them.
To see the smiles on their faces is very meaningful. Putting the medals around their neck gives them incentive to continue to achieve and become physically fit.
The state fitness meet, sponsored by the Governor's Council on Physical Fitness, will be held at the LSU Indoor Track Facility in Baton Rouge on Saturday, April the 25th. The state meet is directed by former LSU and NBA basketball legend Mr. Rudy Macklin. I'm very happy at this time to announce the 3 schools who will receive first, second, and third place trophies for having the most cumulative points earned by their 4 athletes. When I call the winning school, would the principal, the coach, and any of the team members representing the school tonight please come and receive your trophy? I understand some of them were still stuck on I-12, so we're hoping to have a good showing. For third place, the trophy goes to Lake Harbor Middle School. Representing Lake Harbor, we have Terrell Monk and Principal Susan Patan. Also on that team, Coach Roxy Luquette, Sydney Ballard, Brianna LaCour, and Steven Spalita. The second place trophy goes to Abney Elementary School. Representing Abney, we have Principal Mike Alford, Coach Brian Donnelly, athlete Ethan Ricks, and we have several that are still stuck in traffic, Kayla Callaway, Maya Callaway, and Bryce Bell. Maya and Kayla are sisters, so if they get here, we'll get 2 for 1. The first place overall school trophy will go to a school that already has a first place trophy in their trophy case from 2012. The only 2-time champions, and very proud, Folsom Elementary School. We have Principal Lisa Bodner, Coach Ann Brown, Sanaya Thompson, Caitlin Toomer, Torin Bell, and Tony Walker.
Thank you. Can you see us?
I think they've signed a contract with someone. Nike contract.
Okay, we need you to turn around and show everyone your jackets. I think Miss Bodner had something to do with that. Thank you, Miss Bodner.
I'm proud.
Yeah. Now, the individual winning athletes. St. Tammany is allowed to send 6 students to compete in the state meet on April 25th. This Team St. Tammany will be made up of 2 male, 2 female, plus 2 alternates. At this time, I would like to introduce our district winners and ask if Mr. Foltz will please present each athlete with their good luck. They'll get a good luck gym bag. They will get a water bottle, and they will get a t-shirt, Team St. Tammany, that they will be wearing in Baton Rouge. We have boys third place winner from Lake Harbor Middle, Terrell Monk. Third place winner from Abita Middle, Madison Martin. We have a second place. We have Bryce Bell from Abney. I think Mr. Alford could take the bag. Mr. Bryce Bell did not make it. Okay, Coach Donnelly, Mr. Alford, which one of y'all are going to fight over the shirt?
How many athletes?
Okay. and that is Bryce Bell. He could not make it tonight. We do have girls' second place winner from Mandeville Middle School, and that is Caitlin Sinon. Sinon? Sinon. Caitlin. And we have our first place boys. I would like from Chafuncta Middle, Dr. Mitch Stubbs to come and stand with Patrick Nunez, first place. And our girls' first place winner and the athlete who received the total number of the most points that day, boys or girls, is Miss Maya Calloway from Abney Elementary. And unfortunately, she is not here yet, but hopefully she will make it. Yeah. We do have the coach of record will be Coach Donnelly, Brian Donnelly. If you want to come get, he's out there waiting for her. He will be the only coach of record that will be allowed on the track that day to accompany the athletes at LSU. We certainly wish the team the best of luck on the 25th. An event like this takes a lot of hard work and a lot of volunteers. I would like to thank the many physical education teachers who volunteered that day from all grade levels, high schools and so forth. Perfect timing. Maya and Kylie, come on down. Y'all have been introduced, and we're very proud of you. Okay, thank you. And you will be taking that bag with you to Baton Rouge. And come sit right over here with your team. We're going to get a picture of you in just a minute. Thank you so much. I'd also like to add that we had Supervisor Amy Wussner as the official scorekeeper that day. We had 2 volunteer nurses, Stephanie Gilliard and Becky Miller, who have volunteered like 3 years in a row. Of course, physical education curriculum specialist Kay Hersey organized and kept things moving. And finally, we'd like to thank Dr. Jean Wagner for once again allowing us to use the beautiful Lakeshore High School facility. And I would like to make a special point to thank Mr. Foltz. 5 years ago, he called me into his office and he said, I want our kids to be a part of this. This track meet in Baton Rouge has been going on for many, many, many years. And for some reason, St. Tammany had not been a part of it. And so he said St. Tammany students need to have the chance to do this, and they have certainly stepped up. We haven't gotten first place yet. The pressure's on, gang. Mr. Foltz is expecting some trophies, but I would like to thank Mr. Foltz because he has supported, he's been a staunch supporter of this, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to all the athletes and the schools that received awards tonight, and good luck to the athletes that will be participating on the 25th. We'll be thinking of you then. All right, we'll move on now to our presentation by Ms. Strataberger regarding our foreign exchange students.
Good evening, Mr. Foltz, Ms. Heinz, board members, and distinguished guests. I am pleased tonight to showcase our 2014-2015 St. Tammany Parish Public School foreign exchange students and briefly discuss their placement. As you are aware, our St. Tammany Foreign Exchange Program has a long and successful history. We work with a variety of exchange agencies, ensuring that all of our partnering agencies have the Council on Standards for International Education Travel seal of approval. The process of student placement begins when the student, while residing in his or her home country, fills out an application from one of our partnering agencies. Upon screening and acceptance by the exchange agency, the agency contacts Dr. Regina Sanford, and she begins, per school board policy, further student screening to determine if they meet our local prescribed criteria. Once accepted, Dr. Sanford contacts the principal of the school in the district in which the host family resides to discuss placement and make appropriate connections. Currently, we have 13 participating students in our program this school year. In the past, our participation rate has ranged from a low of 9 to a high of 17. The rate is predicated in part on the exchange agency's ability to find acceptable host families. As you can see, we currently have students from a wide variety of countries from around the world. Tonight, we will honor the 12 young ladies and 1 young man who participated in our St. Tammany Foreign Exchange program this school year. Students, when your name is called, please come forward along with your school principal to receive your Certificate of Achievement and St. Tammany insignia pin from Mr. Fols. Our first honoree is Victoria Prague from Fontainebleau High School. She is accompanied by Principal Mr. Johnny Vitrano. Victoria is from Sweden. Her teachers at Fontainebleau High School describe her as a bright, friendly, and having a great sense of humor. She is a member of the Cross Country, Environmental Awareness Club, Bulldog Buddies, and Knights of the Veg Table, a vegetarian club. Her teachers appreciate her musical talents and vibrant personality. Our next honoree is Rebecca Malberg from Lakeshore High School. She is accompanied by Principal Dr. Jean Wagner. Rebecca is also from Sweden. Her teachers at Lakeshore High School describe her as a sincere, wise, and possessing a friendly personality. They appreciate her ever-present sweet smile. Rebecca is an outstanding member of the Lady Titans soccer team, which this year finished 4th in the state, and is an active member of the yearbook staff. She made many friends at Lakeshore, from whom she adopted a few quirky American mannerisms and lovingly received her nickname from her friends, the Sweet Swede. Our next honoree is Zhu Lin Wong from North Shore High School. She is accompanied by Assistant Principal Mr. Steve Alfonso. Lily, as she is fondly referred, is from Taiwan. Her teachers at North Shore High describe her as a lovely, smart young lady. Lily has shared a great deal about her country's economy, food, and traditions throughout the year. She has enjoyed being active with Cross Country and Rotary Club and has enjoyed interacting with all of her classmates. Our next honoree is Clementina Tacchini from Salmon High School. She is accompanied by Principal Mr. Brennan McCurley. Clementina is from Italy. She is described by her teachers as a young lady that possesses great character and work ethic. Other descriptors include diligent, smart, cheerful, and a joy to have in the classroom. Clementina thoroughly enjoyed her senior trip to Disney World, where she was able to speak her native tongue with the staff at the Italy Pavilion at Epcot. Our next 2 honorees are from Mandeville High School. They will be accompanied by Principal Mr. Bruce Bundy. Our first Mandeville honoree is Siv Holverson. Siv is from Norway. She is a member of the skipper swim team and track team, where she is known for her talent with the javelin. Her teachers and fellow students appreciate her willingness to share her unique cultural perspective. Her teacher, Ms. Pamela Simon, noted that Siv added valuable insights into the study of various topics this school year. Our next Mandeville honoree is Margarita Guglielmini. Margarita is from Italy. She is also a member of the skipper swim team and track team. However, she is known for her high jump talent. Her teachers describe her as a pleasant, hard-working young lady who always asks great questions in class. Miss Tracy Hemel, her English teacher, says Maggie, as she is fondly known, has certainly come far in her quest to conquer the English language. Our next 3 honorees all hail from Covington High School. They will be accompanied by Principal Miss Rosalind Hansen. Our first Covington honoree is Victoria Cattell. Victoria is from Brazil. She is an accomplished dancer and vocalist. Victoria is a member of the yearbook staff, choir, and has participated in theater productions, including the most recent school play, Mulan. She won 2nd place in the Covington High Talent Show, in which she performed a classical ballet with fellow exchange student Livia Puhalova. Victoria was nominated by her teachers for the A+ Attitude and Scholars Breakfast. Our next Covington honoree is Livia Puhalova. Livia is from Germany. She is a member of the track team choir and also participated in the theater productions, including Mulan. As noted, she and Victoria took second place in the talent show. While Victoria danced, Lily played the piano. Her teachers describe her as an energetic, well-mannered young lady. Our final Covington honoree is Johara Siqueira Resende. Johara is from Brazil. She represented Covington High School in the literary rally competition in the subject of physics. She is a member of the varsity soccer and swim teams. Her teachers describe her as an extremely intelligent, positive, and engaging young lady, always eager to help her classmates. Our final 4 honorees all hail from Slidell High School. They will be accompanied by Principal Mr. Billy Percy. Our first Slidell honoree is Maria Mora Martinez. Maria is from Ecuador. Her teachers admire her attitude and work ethic. She has worked hard to improve her understanding of English. Her goal is to serve as a Spanish-English translator at home in Ecuador. When asked what she will remember most about her time in America, she noted country music, Disney World, and of course her teachers, who she says are friendlier here than at home. Our next honoree is Beatrice Racciapoli. Beatrice is from Italy. Her teachers describe her as a very intelligent, wonderful, dedicated, diligent student. Beatrice plans to attend an Italian college and return to the United States to pursue a career in psychology. She noted that the most surprising thing about American schools is the spirit and personality, especially at Slidell High School. She also is impressed with how many student activities are offered at Slidell High. Our next Slidell honoree is Enchenko Ingshwong. Candy, as she is fondly called, is from Thailand. Her teachers describe her as a fantastic student with a great smile. They noted that her academic work is of the highest quality and she works very well with her classmates. Our final Slidell honoree is Samuel Perdrezu. Samuel is from France. His teachers describe him as an intelligent, friendly student who is eager to learn. He has studied English since he was 6 years old. Samuel says participating in the foreign exchange program has given him the opportunity to not only perfect his English, but to make many friends. In closing, our foreign exchange program provides a wide range of opportunities for all involved, from the enrichment of educational experiences and the broadening of cultural awareness to the understanding of the concept of global interconnectedness. One high school teacher put it best: all students, teachers, administrators, parents, and community members all stand to benefit from foreign exchange students, as our community has the opportunity to learn culturally from our guest. In speaking with our international students, they expressed their appreciation for this opportunity and enjoyed their experience here in St. Tammany. As you heard from some of their comments, they are extremely impressed with our school system. We would like to ask all school administrators and staff that are here tonight to stand. We would like to thank them for their support they gave our students during their tenure here in St. Tammany. But most of all, we would like to honor the host families and the Foreign Exchange Agency representatives for opening their homes and lives to these students. Would all those please stand to be recognized? Finally, we would like to thank the board for all your support for our foreign exchange program. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you very much. We're really pleased that these foreign exchange students had the opportunity to study in our schools, and we hope that you'll bring many fond memories of your time in St. Tammany back home with you. Thank you for being here this evening. Hi, Joe. Our next presentation this evening is the ProStart presentation, and Ms. Strataberger is going to help us with that also.
Thank you. On March 3rd and 4th, the Louisiana Restaurant Association Education Foundation hosted the 14th annual Louisiana Seafood Pro Start Invitational at the New Orleans Ernest Morial Convention Center. 20 schools from across the state participated in this rigorous competition that included culinary and management components. Mr. Fols, Ms. Heinz, board members, and distinguished guests, it is my honor to present to you the Lakeshore High School Pro Start team, led by instructor Ms. Judy Ackery, who won first place for the second consecutive year in the prestigious culinary competition. The students also received $350,000 in collective scholarship money for their achievement. Lakeshore's winning menu consisted of an appetizer of Louisiana shrimp étouffée cavatelli, an entree of rabbit and lobster rizzoli, and a dessert of mascarpone lemon curd. In addition to placing first in the culinary competition and receiving the Judges' Pick Award for their dessert, Lakeshore placed second in the management competition. Lakeshore will be one of 2 teams to represent Louisiana at the National Pro Start Invitational in Anaheim, California next week. They leave on Friday, April 17th. The achievements of this team are made more impressive as they are led and mentored by Ms. Ackery, who was recently named the 2015 Pro Start Educator of the Year. We all wish them good luck, and we know they will make us very proud. At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Ackery, their Pro Start instructor, for a few words.
Good evening. Thank you for honoring us this evening. We are headed to Disneyland in a week. I feel like a culinary rock star. And our students are thrilled, but the true honor goes to them. It's not about me, it's about the kids. And they have done a terrific job. I could not have asked for a better team. They are amazing. They always give me their best, and I'm so proud of them. And I'd like to bring them up to introduce. I know they will do well. I'm confident we will place very high in the competition. Last year we came in 18th in the country, and our goals are set much higher this year, so I know we will do well. And I think it will be live streamed, so we'll have to get the information to everyone so you can watch us cook. Thank you so much again for your support. Thank you.
We invite the following members of the Lakeshore Pro Start team, along with Ms. Ackery and Principal Dr. Jean Wagner, to come forward, and Mr. Fols will present them with a certificate of achievement. Student members are Ireland Crosby, Autumn Ham, Gianna Nastasi, and Hunter Trahan. We are very proud of them, and good luck, guys, next week.
You are culinary rock stars, and congratulations to you, and good luck next week. Thank you. Thank you for being here this evening. All right, next we have Mr. Fols to tell us about our new mobile app.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. So let's see, board members, tonight we built a house, we ran a track meet, we traveled the world, and then we had World Culinary Arts for dinner tonight. That's what I had. I don't know what y'all had for dinner tonight, but so far so well. Tonight I'm really happy to announce to you, and this is something I've been wanting to say for at least over a year, that I'm proud to tell you that our school system now has our very own mobile app. It is full of information on the go, and it is going to be a great tool for our parents, our students, our employees, and our community. Channel 13 has put together a brief promo that we will start running, and I want you to be the first to see it tonight. As you can see in the video, the app has many features. Let me share a couple of them with you. There will be a news stream that will keep up with current events, our school calendars, our lunch menus. There will be a directory that will allow parents to contact schools with one-touch calling. We'll also be able to contact teachers and faculty with one-touch email. The app features GPS mapping to guide you to any school in our system. We'll include links to our online photo pages, which, as you know, have been very popular. Our Student Progress Center, where parents will be able to find out their students' grades. My Payment Plus, where you can go to manage your cafeteria meal plan. The app can also be used in emergency situations for school closures to push notifications. We'll be rolling this out next week. The flyers will go home to parents and employees. You have a flyer at your seat that kind of gives you an overview of what will be going out next week. You know, we all know that not every home has a computer, but pretty much almost every parent or adult, we believe, does have a mobile phone of some sort. So this app is going to allow us to reach more parents than ever before and to make sure they have success and access to the most important information. This is another way for us to connect to our community, and certainly a great step as we move forward in our district. So I would thank Meredith for chairing the committee. I think Ms. Heinz was on the committee, correct? Yes. So thank you for that. I hope that you will download the app to your phone. I know Ms. Mary Kay was hooking it up when she got here. So we have about a week before the full rollout and the flyers go home. So I would encourage you to take a look at it and share any thoughts you might have with us. But it's something we're really excited for, and it's our next step of connecting with our community and moving forward in that direction.
Thank you, Mr. Foles, for your leadership to get this going for us. I think it would be a great asset to our community and school system.
Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Mendez, for your work on this. All right, our next item is LSBA Awards. Superintendent Foles.
Thank you, Ms. Heinz. At the recent Louisiana School Board Association statewide conference, a number of our students earned prestigious awards and honors. Our Channel 13 interns, led by instructor John Harrison, submitted videos in 3 different categories for LSBA's inaugural video contest entitled Louisiana Believes in Public Schools. Tonight, I'm extremely proud to announce to you that Channel 13 broadcast intern Emma Landish won first place in the entire state for her video under the categories of Public Schools, the Best Choice. Please take a look at Emma's video.
Public schools are the best choice. Public schools provide education for everyone.
The philosopher Cicero asked, "What greater gift can we give the Republic than to teach and instruct our youth?"
Public schools take in everyone. No entrance exams required.
Each child is welcomed through their doors.
Public schools teach children important life lessons about their country, career, and their future.
Public school students create friendships, explore interests, and reach their highest potentials.
Every child receives a top-notch education. Thomas Jefferson said, "When the people are well informed, they can be trusted with their own government."
Public education has been part of our country since colonial times.
Public schools strengthen democracy.
And democracy is the foundation of our freedom.
Public schools create an active, knowledgeable citizenry.
They prepare students to be engaged members of their communities.
If we lose public schools, it puts our democracy in jeopardy. What happens if only a fraction of our citizens are educated?
That's bad news for everyone.
Nelson Mandela stated, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world."
Generations of movers and shakers are educated by public schools.
Public schools change the world through the success of their students. Public schools are the best choice.
The very best choice.
For me.
And me.
And me.
Public schools are the best choice for our future.
So I'm going to ask Emma to come forward. We have this plaque for you that says 2015 Video Contest State Winner. And also our school system through LSBA was awarded $2,500. And this money will help fund the Channel 13 Broadcast and Intern Program. Emma, I'm proud to present to you this plaque and this award. We thank you for what you did, how you represent. I can tell you many of the board members were at that luncheon when your video was shown. You could have heard a pin drop through the whole place, and I can tell you as superintendent and as board members, we're extremely proud of the message that your video was sending and the message that you represented our school system. So congratulations and thank you. Don't get too used to the check. In the category of what public schools have done for me, happy to introduce to you intern Andrew Fontenot. Andrew was a state finalist, and I want you to take a look at Andrew's video, what public schools have done for me.
From my earliest years, to my youngest childhood memories, to my glorious reign as a senior, I have been a part of something special and extraordinary. Every test, assignment, and carefree recess I've experienced, public schools have been there for me, guiding me step by step on my path to greatness, weaving me into something more than academics, something more than a letter grade, a person of social expression with the skills to succeed, taught by a community of people that care about my success, where long-lived traditions for each generation, old and new, have been carried on for centuries.
I will make a difference.
I will have a voice in the community. I will use my skills to improve the world.
Because I am the face of public schools.
So what have public schools done for me? They've inspired me. They have shaped me. And they have prepared me to make my mark in history.
Andrew, come on up. Congratulations and thank you for your work. Good job. In that same category, what public schools have done for me, want to congratulate Channel 13 intern Peyton Ibos, who's also a state finalist. Take a look at Peyton's video.
My name is Peyton Ibos, and I'm a senior at a Louisiana high school. I haven't always had the privilege of attending public school. In fact, it wasn't until 3 short years ago that I enrolled in my school as a sophomore. I was in search of more opportunities, way to incorporate leadership, education, and my love for performance in my everyday life. At public school, that's exactly what I found. I became a scholar. I enrolled myself in rigorous courses and succeeded as an honor student. I became a performer. I explored the talented arts program and became an actress. I became a leader. I joined the school dance team and helped lead my teammates through 2 successful years as a national competition team. I became a broadcaster. I anchored on the school news, became a Channel 13 intern, and found broadcasting as a prospective occupation. Public schools have given me all of these opportunities and more. With a strong academic foundation, coupled with a new sense of identity, I now am prepared for my future. So what have public schools done for me? Prepared me, encouraged me, and inspired me.
Peyton, come on up. When I saw Peyton's video, one of the things that really impressed me the most was she had other schools that she'd been in, and she had something to compare our school system to. I think sometimes some of us that have been in public schools the whole life kind of take some of these things for granted. So Peyton had another perspective on it, and it certainly came through in her video. So we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Our last video tonight comes under the category of public schools preparing students. Emily Russell was a finalist. Please take a look at Emily's video, Public Schools Preparing Students.
In Louisiana public schools, success is not just a test score.
Success is not bounded by the limitations of a classroom.
In Louisiana public schools, success is learning in a stimulating environment.
Success is utilizing opportunity to one's benefit.
It's acquiring real-life skills and gaining experience far beyond the classroom.
So that when I graduate, I am workforce ready.
Louisiana public schools have prepared me for success.
Congratulations. Thank you. Great job. The last thing I want to share with you tonight from the LSBA conference was we also had a winner in our artwork competition. Madisonville Junior High Schools came in second place in the grades 6 through 8 category. His artwork, which you see up on the screen, was displayed at the LSBA convention. It is now being prominently displayed at the LSBA offices. So Cayman, come up, and congratulations for your artwork. So Ms. Heinz and board members, if I could, I'd like to thank LSBA, Executive Director Scott Richard for providing the money for us. And I want to thank the students for showcasing their talents. I also want to thank the teachers that led these students and worked with these students as well as their parents. It certainly takes a group effort to have awards such as like this. So I thank them all, extremely proud of our students, and I can tell you it was a great representation to LSBA. I know we had a state winner, and I know we had a couple state finalists, but I guess I'm a little prejudiced, and the people that were there will tell you that those 4 videos were as good as any that were shown at that thing, and I'm extremely proud of each and every one of our students and what they accomplished. Thank you, Ms. Heinz.
Those were some awesome words that were spoken by our students in support of public education. I really appreciate the thought that went into those videos and the making of them. Ms. Seeley, did you have something you wanted to say?
On behalf of the Louisiana School Board Association as their district director for District 1, I would like to extend a thank you to the students and their parents for allowing them to participate in our competitions, and congratulations on your accomplishments. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Seeley. All right, moving on to human resources. Revisions to the regulations for the assessment of school personnel for 2014-15, Mr. Javia.
Thank you, Ms. Heinz. Board members, we do have some revisions to our regulations for the assessment of school personnel, basically Bulletin 130. That packet was sent to you in advance. A number of those items were state mandated. I'm not going to take a lot of time on each one of these, but of course I'll be able to answer any questions you may have. On page 2, the title was changed. That was from the State Department. Page 6, that was new language from the State Department, which is mandatory. Page 13, there's some language there with sections 4 and 5. We reversed them to make it run a little bit better. And the other thing is with the legislation this past year, passed a law dealing with evaluations, and any teacher rated ineffective would lose their tenure. but before they could lose their tenure, they had the right to file a grievance. Therefore, we had to prepare a grievance procedure. The grievance was basically outlined in Bulletin 130, and we followed that straight from the law. The only thing that we did is we added some timelines of when the grievance had to be in, because this time is of the essence when we're dealing with that and with an employee that could possibly lose their tenure and know what's going to be their status for the next school year. So the next language at the bottom of page 13 and the top of page 14 just outlines that the timelines for us and gives a stipulation that the grievance is held by a designee of the superintendent and that the decision of the superintendent is final. On page 17, there's some more revised language that was all part of state mandates. Page 18, again, general provisions and Louisiana components of effective teaching. That's all new state language. And since we had to redo the grievance on page 19, the definition of the grievance, we cleaned that up to be in line with the procedure that we are presenting tonight. And we would need a recommendation for approval of these changes. And of course, I'm available to answer any questions, and so is Mr. Clanton.
Thank you, Mr. Javier. Do I have a motion? I have a motion from Mr. Derman. Second from Mr. Womack to accept these recommendations. Now let's see if board members have any questions. All right, we're going to open the floor for questions. Let's see. Mr. Derman.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Mr. Jabby, just for clarification, basically all of the changes that we are implementing are basically dictated to us by the state.
Yes, sir. The only thing that we put in that was not included in the state grievance procedure was the timeline.
Right.
That was basically it.
Okay, that's all I needed. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Hennigan.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Mr. Javi, can you share kind of the general timeline for when we would indicate to a teacher when they might be ineffective? So is it, I know we do the testing and it takes a long time to get the testing back.
To do the evaluations, but usually, Brandon, you help me out, latter part of April, 1st of May, they're going to be getting in their final results because all the teachers basically sign off on this evaluation or on their evaluation usually before school is out.
Okay.
So they'll know it before the end of May. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Is that right? And will we get the test scores? Because I had heard that we might not get the test scores that fast.
What test score? This is for the teacher's evaluation.
Right.
This would be from their SLT score and or their observation score.
The VAM. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
There is no test score value added that's going to affect the majority of these people. Julie, there may be a few test scores that are coming back on this, but the majority of the people, it's based on their SLT and their principal evaluation.
Okay. All right. And that's within the school year. That's what I wanted.
That's going to end.
And it's not like they would be told in July when they might be out of town, huh?
No, sir.
Okay, good.
No, sir. They're going to know before mid-April. Mid-May.
Mid-May. Good. Thank you.
All right, if we have no further comments from board members, do we have any comments from the public? All those in favor of the motion to accept the revisions to the regulations for the assessment of school personnel for 2014-15, please vote aye. I'm sorry, did you open the machine, Ms. Debbie? Thank you. All right, if everyone's voted, we'll close the machine. All right, and the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we have the revisions to the drug-free workplace policy. Mr. Jabbia.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. We have had the drug-free workplace policy for a number of years, and we've used this policy whenever we had an incident that was alcohol-related, but we never had the word alcohol in the policy. So the only thing that we're doing here tonight is just for clarification and to make sure that all of our employees understand this policy. Every place where you see drug, we added and alcohol-free workplace, and that's the only changes that we've made to this policy. And we're asking for approval of this tonight also. And it is a state requirement that we have a policy regarding alcohol. So this is why we're doing this.
Thank you, Mr. Jabby. Do I have a motion? I have a motion from Mr. Womack, second from Mr. Jeter. Do we have any comments from board members? Do we have any comments from the public? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Abstained? All right, so ordered.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll move on to instruction. We have the textbook update for the math adoption. We have Dr. Mott giving us that report this evening.
Good evening. I am here tonight to give you the textbook math adoption update. This is just showing you our timeline. You've seen this before, and I wanted to let you know that we're progressing right along, almost on schedule, just a few days off, but we are rolling right along. Just to review how this process has been going and what it looked like. It began, the preview process began in January, and it ended March 7th at Lakeshore High School with the textbook showcase. During that time, we had public input, employee input at all our sites, our school sites, and Brooks and Harrison Curriculum Center. We had sign-in sheets at all these sites and feedback forms for anyone who visited to turn those in to the schools or the sites for committee review. As part of this evaluation process this year, we formed a very large committee, as you can see, 167 members, strong math teachers, strong community members, and very involved parents were on this committee. The committee was charged with using a rubric that had 6 major criteria to guide their evaluation of the textbook samples. Again, the formal presentations were held at Lakeshore High School on March 7th, the same day as the track meet. The committee member responsibilities, again, were to review the textbooks, discuss with the school faculty the findings and which books they felt like had strengths, areas of concern, and things like that. They were also charged with considering input from their peers. They had to attend the formal presentations on March 7th and update their faculty if they saw something that lit a light bulb for them or was different than what they perceived from just looking at the books alone. And the final responsibility was to vote to represent the majority of the school where they're employed. You've seen this slide before. This is the titles and the publishers that we reviewed, and we had them grouped by grade level, K-5, 6-8, and high school. Before I give you the committee recommendations, I would like to thank the committee. It was a large committee, and they had lots of work. They were very professional and dedicated to this event. It took a lot of their time, and it is much appreciated. Also, I'd like to thank the publisher reps and their presenters. They were very professional all through this process, and on the March 7th presentations at Lakeshore High School, they were organized, timely, and their presentations were wonderful. So let's start with high school. For high school, the committee awarded the votes to Big Ideas at a rate of 51.4%. For 7th and 8th grade, you can see 90% of the committee voted for Glencoe Math by Glencoe McGraw-Hill. 6th grade, Glencoe Math by Glencoe McGraw-Hill. Kindergarten through 5th grade, My Math by Glencoe McGraw-Hill. This slide is just a composite of all grade levels, the publisher that was chosen, and the percent of the vote that the publisher received at that grade level. Our next steps are to negotiate contracts, order teacher materials and student books, schedule summer and ongoing professional development. Now, it may not be the appropriate time tonight, but just in case, following this meeting, I did bring a sampling of all the books in case you want to look at them. That concludes my presentation on the update.
Thank you, Dr. Mott. You know, usually we do not vote on textbooks, but I'd like to see if it's at the pleasure of the board to take a vote on this, because we spent a lot of time this fall discussing math and math instruction, and also we've gone outside the usual bid procedure for this. So I'm thinking it might, be a good idea to take a vote. And is that, would someone like to make that motion?
I move. Second.
All right, we have a motion by Ms. Seeley and a second by Mr. Jeter. So now we can begin discussion and ask Dr. Mott any questions we might have about the process. If you'll sign up to speak, please. Mr. Hennigan.
I'm learning. Okay.
I didn't know we were going in this
Miss Minton, yeah, I didn't either. Thank you. So I guess I was curious on the high school text and the sixth grade text. Those look like, lower scores. It didn't look like a real strong unanimous opinion. Was there a close second? On those? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Let's start with the high school. I brought those numbers just in case you'd ask that question. We have 8 high schools, and each high school, we mapped it out. We mapped out their votes. And 6 of the 8 high schools chose one book or the other book of the top 2 contenders. Then the other 2 high schools, all the votes at the school went for one book, and one person voted for a second book. And that happened at 2 high schools. So what we did was we said, okay, if we did a runoff, what might this look like? Because the percentages were so close. So looking at a high school with a strong teacher vote for one book and only one person voted for a different book, chances are that that person, if they change their vote, it would be to match the rest of their team. So we did it that way, and we said, would this change the outcome? No, it would not. Then we switched those 2 people. Would it change the outcome? No, it would not. So once we did that, and then we took the people, the community people who were not attached to a high school, and we said, okay, what if we change their vote to of the top 2, what if we put them with the second place person? They still would not surpass the first place person.
Okay.
So for 6th grade, that was the grade, if you remember, when we were considering the books, they were kind of alone. And that's because we wanted to give the teachers, the 6th grade teachers, the choice of going with a K6 series or 6, 7, 8 series. So when 6th grade placed their vote needed to be connected to either K5 or 7, 8. Well, it just so happened that the way it turned out was their top pick at 44% matched both K5 and 7, 8, so we didn't need to go to a runoff with 6th grade.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think so. You looked at it pretty seriously, it's clear. So K through junior high is McGraw-Hill, so their matriculation or whatever is probably pretty sound, between the grades.
Yes, sir.
That's not the right word.
The scope and sequence and the
sequencing.
progression through the grades.
And then the textbook for high school is totally different, or is it close, or Big Math?
It's a different publisher, Big
Publisher,
Ideas,
yeah.
yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And that other publisher is? I should know, but I don't. Who is it?
It's Ron Larson.
Okay.
The Ron Larson series, Harcourt.
All right, good.
Houghton
Thank you.
Mifflin.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Darman.
Thank you. Ms. Mott, I guess really Mr. Hennigan asked a lot of the questions I was going to ask, so that's pretty scary. I just kind of wanted to, I know you touched on the process a little bit, and I just kind of want to, we had a large group and much larger than normal. Is that my understanding that in participation?
Yes, sir. We made it much larger than normal because obviously the spotlight has been on math over the past couple of years. And in fact, one of the publisher reps told me that he's been doing this for over 10 years and he's never seen a committee anywhere in the state quite as large as the St. Tammany Committee was this year.
Oh, that's very surprising, but not really. But so I guess what I'm really trying to say, we've had a large base of input from every perspective on this selection, and I just think that, you know, if the committee has spoken, I feel very comfortable with that recommendation. So I just want to again thank you and everybody involved with that whole process, because I know it was very drawn out. I do know that, you know, some of the materials that were looked at whether or not they're Common Core or version of it, or, you know, can substitute for what we are doing currently, or maybe what we may have to do in the future, because we don't have a crystal ball. None of them came with a crystal ball. So we're just trying to pick what we can pick from right now and do the best we can. So I appreciate everybody's efforts in doing that. Thank you.
Mr. Betancourt.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. Dr. Mott, besides the 167 committee members, what type of participation did you get from the evaluations that parents turned in at the different schools and I think the two central locations?
At the two Brooks and Harrison, participation there was not high, but just to let you know, from past textbook adoptions, we've had a public place for people to go, just like we did this time, except we had two. We had one on each end. In the past, sometimes we had 0 people show up. I remember one time we had 4. We certainly had more than that this time, but it's not what you would consider a large amount of input from those two sites. We had more parental and community input at the school sites. I guess people felt more comfortable going there, you know, because their child goes there or they live in that school community.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then those evaluations or whatever those comments turned in, how would you explain how was that used, I guess, by the committee to kind of help them in the selection process?
Their job was to consider input from what they learned, what they saw, what the teachers at their school saw, what the parents saw, and to take all that information in and to the very best of their ability, synthesize all that and say, okay, what is the majority of this group that I represent, what are they wanting? And that's how they had to place their vote, considering all pieces of data.
So were the comments shared with the committee members? I think Mr. Betancourt
Oh, yes,
was
sir.
asking.
The comments were shared at the school level. They were given to the committee. At the two sites, our representatives for the two sites were our central office representative, which was Beth Lane, and our math curriculum specialist, which there were 4.
Okay, one last, I guess it's a question. The books that were selected, I know that Saturday at Lakeshore, some of them brazenly had Common Core on the front cover. Were we able, or are we still in the process of being able to look at perhaps getting that off of the covers? I know there was a little discussion about that.
Yes, sir. Without given the permission to enter into contract negotiations, I haven't been able to finalize that, but I got favorable, when I asked that question, favorable responses from the representatives that may be able to be done, but I do not have that in writing or a guarantee that would be able to be done, but we will give it our best effort. Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Seeley?
Thank you. I first must commend you for a fabulous job in your timeline and your planning of getting the teams together to review the publishers' books that they had to offer. And the event on Saturday for the publishers' presentations was very impressive. I believe everyone showed up for that day.
We were missing about 8 to 10 people who had, other engagements that they couldn't show up for that. So we asked if they couldn't make it to send a substitute, and some of those people did send a substitute.
Well, I just had to say great job on that. And I enjoyed watching the presentations of the publishers. And it was interesting to hear comments about and those that would make those decisions. And thank you for the invitation to allow the board members to come watch the presentations and be a part of that. We appreciate
Certainly.
that. Thank you.
Ms. Drucker?
I want to piggyback on Peggy's comments. I thought everything went very, very well. I did attend at Lakeshore on March 7th, and I was highly impressed on how well everything was put together. Not only was I impressed with how everything was arranged, but the publishers. They were very receptive, and I kind of took my own little vote, and it kind of tracked exactly with what was the consensus of everybody else. What I wanted to find out is, I know I talked to a couple of publishers, and I thought that possibly that we would ask if they would have mobile apps, like what Trey had just mentioned that we would have for our school system, for our calendars and grades and whatnot, but also if they could have that as an added plus, that would probably help with so many children and families that may not have computers. That was a little highlight that I had asked a couple of publishers. So I thought that possibly
I think that's a wonderful idea. I'm writing it down to pursue mobile apps.
Thank you very much.
I think that's going to be important, but I also, like Ms. Drucker says, is that way we can cover all of our bases. But I know another thing that came back, resonated a lot to the people, was they wanted a book. They wanted to be able to sit at that table, open the book, and work with their child. So we're able to accomplish that, and we can supplement with the suggestion that Ms. Drucker had. I think would be a perfect win-win for all of our parents and students, of course.
All right, if there's no other comments from board members, do we have any comments from the public? If there are none, then we'd like to take a vote. Ms. Seeley has made a motion. Mr. Jeter has seconded that we vote on the textbooks that are to be adopted by the committee recommendation. So we are now ready to vote. If you would all vote, please. All right, if everyone, Mr. Hannigan, thank you. We'll close the machines. All right, the motion passes. Thank you very much.
Could I just say a special thank you to Julie and the group? There's a lot of work, and there's a lot of legwork, and there's a lot of I would say scrutiny to everything that's been going on lately with this. And I think the manner that these meetings were conducted, I think Ms. Seeley touched on it, Ms. Drucker touched on it as well, and I know Mr. Betancourt was there as well. Very professional, and I'm very proud of the work that Julie and the group did to move this along, and I'm excited about the next step in making sure that we can do the best for what's accepted by our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Loop, are you going to save your announcements for the end of the next meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then I declare this meeting adjourned.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call the meeting to order for the St. Tammany Parish School Board Committee as a whole meeting April 9th, 2015 for business affairs and administrative purposes. Miss Debbie, roll call, please.
Mr. Darren?
Here.
Mr. Hannigan?
Here.
Mrs. Hines? Here. Mr. Root?
Here.
Mr. Howell?
Here.
Mr. Nation?
Here.
Mr. Jeter?
Here.
Mrs. Seeley? Here. Mrs. Drucker? Here. Mr. Betancourt?
Here.
Ms. Mr. Womack.
Here.
Mr. Hersey.
Here.
Mrs. Muller. Mr. Kuzan. Here. And Mrs. Belisario. Here.
Thank you very much. We're going to dispense with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have no one sign up for time on the agenda, so we're going to move to item 4, which is approval of the minutes for the committee as a whole meeting held March 5th, 2015. Do I have a motion?
I move.
Moved by Mr. Jeter, seconded by Mr. Loop. Any questions or comments by board members? By the public? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain, so ordered. All right, item 5 is discussion of the naming of board property. Mr. Foltz.
Thank you, Mr. Derman. Board members, in part of your packet tonight, you have our name of board property policy. You can see the items that are revised or underlined, the items that are scratched out, or things that were recommended to be deleted from the policy. Just a little history. This has certainly been a work in progress, something that we've been dealing with requests at least over the last couple years of smaller type requests of different parts of our schools to be named in honor of different people. I think the policy was pretty clear on the policy of naming buildings and outdoor facilities, but there was some discussion about how someone or family or other members of the community would want to look at naming portions of a building for someone or dedicated to the honor of that individual. So what you'll see is the policy for naming buildings and outdoor facilities stays much the same. It does delete the part where the superintendent shall determine instances that do not require board action. I asked that to be taken out. I think it is the board. I want the board's input on that. I would prefer it to be the superintendent and the board agreeing on that, so we took that out of there. And what we did add, I'll read it to you, with the approval of the superintendent, a school committee may be formed to name a portion of a building on a school campus dedicated to honor or recognize an individual. The superintendent shall develop administrative procedures and requirements to receive, review, and consider applications for this naming of portions of a building. The superintendent, with consultation with the board president at the time, as well as the board member representing the specific school being discussed, is granted the authority to name portions of buildings with the school committee approval, and that would not require board action, much as above where the superintendent could have determined that without board action. It seems like every time that we name something for someone, this certainly comes up again. It kind of picks up again, and we have a couple situations now that are not the naming of buildings or not the stadiums, but maybe it be a library or maybe it be a field house or something like that. So we have some thoughts and ideas in place on how we can do that, honoring people and not changing the name of something, and that would certainly be in our guidelines that we would come forward. But we have a couple that have been hanging out there for at least a year that I just haven't had a good feeling on because I knew our policy, and I certainly didn't want to go against our policy, but I also know that these need to be addressed. So I would ask your consideration of this policy, and I will promise you, if once we put it in place, if it's not working the way that we had hoped it will, we'll certainly come back and tweak it as we go along.
Thank you, Mr. Foles. Debbie, why don't we open up the machine for people to request time to speak here, because I think it may be more than one.
Do you need a motion first, or what?
Yes, please. Moved by Ms. Hines, second by Mr. Betancourt, and now we'll open it up for discussion. Ms. Belisario?
Thank you. I have a very, very small change, but it could be just considered rather than actual changing the wording. A lot of our schools, I know Little Oak is a good example. While I'm the board member, there are 2 other board members whose students go there, and I was wondering if we might want to say the board member representing the specific school being discussed and any other board members. I don't know how you would want to word that, or just invite the others.
Absolutely. I have no problem with that at all.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Belisario, do you want to confirm the verbiage of that, or is that all you have?
You want to just call it
really
school
rather
board, just want to call it school board members representing, and representing could mean many different things.
Right, because we do have a chart with
Right.
who all represents
But
which school.
let's
but-
just, how about we just say school board members representing?
Or
and that-
representing or involved with.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
School board members representing and/or involved with? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bellisario. Going to Mr. Betancourt now.
Thank you, Mr. Durham. Mr. Foss, do we have any pertinent state laws that we may have to adhere to and all when we do some of this stuff?
No, sir, we've checked that. The state law talks about the deceased part, and that's in line with that. Of course, someone can pass a new state law that does not require, but currently this is in line with state policy,
Okay, thank you.
state law.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And we'll check that one more time before Thursday night, just to be safe again.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Betancourt. Ms. Heinz?
Mr. Durham, I just wanted to say that I appreciate that we're cleaning this up a little bit. When we put this policy in place, I don't think we got it as specific as we needed to. So I was one of the ones who wanted to bring this back and clean it up a little bit better. And I think it'll serve us well in the years to come. And, we can change it if we need to. But I think it's important that we make these changes.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other discussion by board members? Seeing none, any from the public? Seeing none there. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? So ordered.
Thank you.
Okay, moving next is item 6, administrative, Mr. Javia.
Thank you, Mr. Darman. We're recommending acceptance of the changes to the district handbook for students and parents. Mr. Williams is going to bring you up to date on that. You should have gotten in your packet a copy of our 14-15 district handbook for students and parents. And you should have also gotten 2 memos, one from Mr. Williams to me and one from Ms. Woosner to me. Mr. Williams regarding his aspects of where he met with the committee, and Ms. Woosner regarding changes in the medication policy. And I'll let Mr. Williams explain those changes to you at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Javier, Mr. Dearman, Mr. Foss, members of the board. The District Handbook Committee met on February 25th to entertain changes to the handbook for the upcoming school year. Just a brief reminder for the new board members. The District Handbook Committee consists of principals from both the high school, junior high, and elementary level, as well as teachers from all grade levels, one high school student from each high school, members of the Federation, as well as paras and bus drivers. It's a rather large committee. They are tasked with making recommendations to any changes that they deem necessary in the handbook. This year, 2 changes were voted upon. If you look at the memo from myself to Mr. Jabi on March the 9th, and I also gave, I think each one of you have a copy of the handbook. If you turn to page 14, under the section of expulsion procedure, the recommendation was to add bullet number 11. As you can see, it says when a student is entered into the Florida Parish Juvenile Detention Center or the St. Tammany Parish Jail or any similar correctional institution, whenever evidenced by the school receiving an official drop slip and are otherwise discovered or determined by the St. Tammany Parish School Board, said student, before they're allowed reentry or re-enrolled or enrolled, should set up a meeting with the disciplinary supervisor, that either myself or Mr. DeRoos. The principal's thinking is there. This is a practice that we have been doing for years, but we felt like it is important to add to the handbook. There are times when students are arrested for things that happen outside of the school situation, environment, that we need to be made aware of before we allow the student to be re-enrolled. And the way the process works is the principal will contact myself or Mr. DeRoos. We arrange a meeting with the parent and the student. We gather the information. We return it to Mr. Jabber and Mr. Foss, and then the decision-making process starts there as to the enrollment of the student.
Okay, thank you.
The next one is on page 7 under attendance. As you know now, we have the credit recovery that occurs at each school. So it's not necessary for the Child Welfare Attendance Office to have any type of appeal concerning students being denied credit. That is now part of the state law, actually, that the principal at the individual schools are the final say-so as far as students who are denied credit or students who are allowed to take part in credit recovery. So we're going to delete that entire portion of the attendance portion.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Williams. I think I'm going to like to take these, separately as far as these recommendations and the second set of recommendations, and we'll vote on those, or, at least let the board have discussion. And I need to get a motion and a second, please.
I move that we accept the.
Okay, moved by Mr. Womack, seconded by Mr. Harrell. And any questions by board members now regarding this? Okay, we're going to go to the machine, Debbie.
No, you have to hit.
I don't have a question.
Everybody, if you want to speak, just hit request on your.
They showing you as paying.
Oh, okay.
We have to get that fixed. I didn't realize that was happening. Okay. So Ms. Belisario was your first one.
All right. Ms. Belisario.
Under the first part, page 14, the expulsion procedure, it ends with, "A meeting shall occur with the disciplinary supervisor to determine potential placement." Since we're referring to students that had been in the Florida Parish Juvenile Detention Center, would a report be made to the board whenever any one of those students is put back in the system?
As of right now, it's not.
I know.
I mean, that would be up to.
I would like to suggest that we know that. It would be interesting to know if any of those students come back to our schools. I don't like to hear that kind of thing from parents. Secondly, I guess putting them back in the system does not require board approval, correct?
I guess technically no, because it's not most cases what happened did not occur on school grounds.
Okay,
right.
Thank you. I would just like to suggest perhaps alerting the board in general, or at least the board members involved with the school, whether one of these students is coming back.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kuzan.
Mr. Hersey.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Hersey. I'm sorry.
Is there any particular reason we're limiting this to Florida Parish Detention Center and St. Tammany Parish Jail instead of all correctional facilities in the United States?
Well, it says similar correctional institutions whenever evident. So, if they're coming from outside our parish or our state, if they report it to the school reports it to us, and we set the meeting up.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hersey. I'm sorry about that. Mr. Hennigan.
Thank you, Mr. Dermott. So, I'm following up on Mary Kay's comment. I assume that we get students back, multiple times a year. So it might be a lot of notifications, and, for kind of non-violent behavior, I don't know if I care, but just putting that out there. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? What would you do? Would you not want them back in? I would.
I think
want them
we're
back
required.
in. Yeah.
We have to by law.
We have to by law. What this is in most cases, when if a child is going to Florida parishes provide education, so they can't be dual enrolled. So Florida parishes will send a drop slip to the school. Now, a lot of times they're not diligent enough to get that information. In other words, the kid will be arrested, put in Florida parishes on a Friday night, and then released the weekend, and Monday they're back at school. And, we have no way of knowing what happens. So when the principal gets that information, they will, contact myself or Kevin, and then we set up the meeting with the parent. Now, if the kid is 16 years of age or under, the parent by law don't have to tell us. But when we meet with these parents, we explain to them that it's for their child's safety as well as the rest of the students in the school. That if it's we need to know what's going on in these cases to prevent something. And 99.9% of the time, the parent will tell us because they want help also.
Yeah.
So in a lot of cases, it's violation of probations, but there have been that's been some pretty serious felonies that we have to bring to Mr. Foles.
The way this works is that when a student is arrested and goes to a place like Florida Parishes, we drop them because Florida Parishes is providing their education for them. And we have a mechanism set up in JPAMS, our student system, to where they are flagged. So if they go to any of our schools and they try to re-enroll, they cannot. And they have to come back through either Byron or Kevin to get back into those schools. So that's how we track them and keep up with them and make sure they're not going back and forth without us knowing about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's the board's pleasure. I think I would leave this up to the administration. I don't think we need to get involved in readmittance. Just my comment. But the reason I had hit the button, and it's not on the topics that are changed, it's just every year I see this in the manual, and I'm wondering, when are we going to make this realistic? And it's you can't have a cell phone on campus. To me, this is one of those rules that we ignore, and it kind of weakens the whole handbook, in my opinion. I know that's a state law, I think, or was a state law at one time, and maybe the teachers I don't want kids to use them, I don't want them to pull them out, but I would not have any concern with kids having them in their purse or in their back pocket and not using them. So just my comment. Was there any discussion over that, or the
There's
teachers?
discussion on that every year.
Every year.
Mr. Henry, hold on a second.
Okay.
And just quite honestly, I think a lot of principals feel differently than what you feel about cell phone use. And
Okay, so
I mean, there's a lot of discussion. I mean, I follow all the periodicals that there's some school systems that are using them for educational tools. There's some that have bring your own.
we just encouraged these handheld phone service
apps.
for the apps for the parish. So
That's certainly something we can look at again.
Well,
I think it's if we're going to do it, it's got to have a lot more work that goes with it. There's a lot of problems with them as well. I mean, there's no
Serious
simple answer.
problems sometimes.
And there's, But and then the flip side of that is, if as a parent, they certainly want to be able to have their child after school hours pull out their phone and communicate with what's going on at home. So we certainly can look into that.
At some point in the future, guys, we're going to allow it. You're not going to be able to prevent it. So I'm just saying, at some point, I personally would be comfortable, but I'm not a principal either.
Thank you, Mr. Hannigan. You finished there? Okay. Moving on, Ms. Heinz.
Going back to Ms. Belisario's request for the notification, I just was wondering if we would, before we would notify board members, we would need to check whether that would be an invasion of the student's privacy, I think. That just something to consider. But
I have that noted to check that.
yes, all right. Thank you, Mr. Javi.
Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Belisario.
I just wanted to clarify to Mr. Hennigan, I asked for notification, not participation in the process. And if our employees are privy to that information, I cannot understand why a board member wouldn't be. All we want to know is when that child goes back to one of our schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Seeley.
Thank you. I have one question. Is there an age limit in allowing reentry into our school system from a detention center?
Think anything? Sharon Hosh can tell me this probably. Anything under 21, I believe, we have
21,
to educate. Yes.
okay. Is it,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hersey.
Back to page 14 ad, number 11. Is there any way we could remove the word similar where it comes after St. Tammany Parish Jail or any similar correction? Just change it to correctional institution. Would that be a... And the reason why I'm asking that, boxing ourselves in with the word similar to, especially when it comes to Florida Parish's detention center, which is unique in itself compared to others.
That's fine, Mr. Hersey.
Yeah, we can get that.
I just don't want somebody to be able to use a play on words, not to have to go through this, that's all.
Thank you.
I fully support it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Harrell?
Isn't this just kind of formalizing what we've been doing for years and no changes and it's working well? So
It is, and
I'd support
I
it.
think, like Byron said, the problem we were running into, some of these things will happen on a Friday, and then somehow or another, by Monday morning at 7:30, they're back at the school, wanting to act like nothing happened. And, you know, the principals are certainly trying to work with these families and know some of the students. It's just another step to require the student and the parents to meet with the central office person to maybe just try another approach to working with them to make sure they understand what the consequences are to actions and, you know, the type of probation, if you will, that they're on.
Many times the parents are very receptive to what our suggestions are because, you know, they understand.
They're frustrated too.
Yeah, they're frustrated and they understand the environment, you know, what the kid did and place them back in the school environment sometimes might not necessarily be the best thing.
No, I'm speaking in support of the
No, I
suggestion.
understand.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Harrell. Any other comments by board members or questions? Seeing none, any from the public? Seeing none from the public, I think we can all just take a voice vote, and I ask all in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? So ordered. Thank you. All right, Byron, we're going to go to page 2 now.
Okay. The second memo dated March 26 from Ms. Woosner to Mr. Jabier. This concerns the Bessie Board and the state laws that have changed with the medication policy. First, I really want to thank Ms. Woosner and the nurses for working on this particular aspect of the handbook because it could be very difficult. But basically, it's just a cleanup. If you would, in your handbook, go to page 5 and 6. Under the medication policy, bullets number 1, 3, 7, and 8 are just kind of a cleanup of what we had before. And as I said, this is a state requirement, so
Where's the handbook?
we would just like you all to approve that so that it's a clarification, better clarification for the parents. And on the second page of that memo, on the new section, health record, those laws were changed by the state, and Ms. Woosner and the nurses feel like we need to add this as a new portion between the medication policy and the uniform discipline, so that's just a clarify and help the parents be able to understand the new laws as the state has changed them as pertaining to vaccinations and the hearing and sight testing.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion and a second. Moved by Mr. Harrell, seconded by Ms. Drucker. Any other conversation or questions by board members? If there's too many, I'm going to, Ms. Belisario. I'm going old school.
Just a quick question. This seems very restrictive. You said it was state language, state mandated language.
Mm-hmm.
So this means a parent could not even send one aspirin or Midol or anything else with a child to school to take later in the day, right?
Not without following the
Doctors?
guidelines.
Right,
Yes,
okay.
yes,
I
ma'am.
just wanted to make sure that I had that
Mhm.
clear. And then on the second page, since parents would have to provide written notice within the first 2 weeks after the school session begins, and an awful lot of them might not know that sight and hearing testing was coming up, are we going to provide notice the first week of school that this is coming so that they'll have a chance to opt out of it?
I'll refer that to Ms. Woosner.
She says, yes, we are.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Sealy.
I know it must be in here, but I don't see it. What about rescue inhalers? Has that been addressed at all?
Amy?
Rescue inhalers?
Yep, like inhalers for severe asthmatics.
That's in there.
Is that?
Yeah.
7, it talks about a student with asthma or at risk of anaphylaxis or diabetic.
Okay, I knew it had to be in here. Just didn't
Yeah.
see it. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions by board members? I have one for you, Byron.
Yes, sir.
And talking about the child is sent to school with some kind of aspirin or over-the-counter medication and they are found with it, is that deemed to be in possession of drugs?
It depends on what the medication is. I mean, not all drugs are Schedule 1 narcotics. The principal and myself and Mr. DeRoos have these discussions all the time on whether or not that child should be recommended, and we have to hear what happened and those type of things before we render a decision. But we certainly don't want first grade students bringing aspirin to school.
I understand. I'm just saying, I mean, I know we give this out to our parents. I mean, I know we can't make them read it.
Mm-hmm.
You got any suggestions on that one? How we make sure they understand?
I think the majority of our parents comply with this. I mean, we have
I
places
understand,
set up
but
at the
I'm
office
just-
where we give out medication. It's there with a note of when they're to get it and that type of thing. So we haven't really experienced that problem.
Okay, good. I hope we continue
I
not
do
to.
too.
We may have to get a mobile app to tell them. Ms. Belisario.
You raise a good point. Following up on that question, let's just say a kid takes an aspirin to school, so there is no penalty if they're caught?
Yes,
Since
ma'am. I
it's-
mean,
It's not
they-
a Scheduled 1 narcotic?
No, but the principal certainly can make a recommendation.
For what?
For expulsion, depending on the situation.
Okay.
We have to hear both sides of the story. What happened? Why did they bring it? What did they do with it? Was it an accident? All those kind of things come out in the hearing.
So it'll be listed in one of those 5 categories in our.
Yeah, it's already in the
Okay.
categories.
So just so the parents are clear that there is a consequence. For
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I think we certainly depend upon the common sense of our administrators to deal with the situation, to get all the facts before any type discipline is made.
Thank you. Any other questions by board members? Mr. Foles.
While we're on the handbook, Mr. Hennigan's comments are running through my head. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Ms. Wushner, Amy, I'm going to ask Amy to contact and maybe send out to other school systems in the state and see what their policies are on cell phone use in their schools, and maybe we can take the next year, give us a year to look into the whole thing, and maybe in next year's thing have some recommendation, whether it be to allow it at certain times of the day or not, and how we use it. But I'd like to see what other school systems are doing and maybe get some more feedback from there as well. Understand. I've read it again, and we can maybe clear up some of that and give a little more wiggle room there and see. But we'll give us a year to see what our other people are doing, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel. If something's working well somewhere else, and we'll come back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Foles. Like I said, no other questions from board members on this particular issue. So we're going to go to the public, see if there's any questions from them. Seeing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? So ordered.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Jabbia, where are we going now? Monthly maintenance and
Yes, sir.
custodial?
Monthly maintenance and custodial report. Mr. Singletary is here with his staff. If you have any questions, it's in your packet.
Any questions from board members? Seeing none,
Monthly
moving
risk
along.
management report. Mr. Gaspard is here.
Any questions from Mr. Gaspar? Seeing none, Mr. Jabbia.
Yes, sir. Monthly transportation report. Miss Amy and her staff are here if you have any questions.
Any questions regarding transportation? Seeing none, we're going to item 7, construction. Sorry, Mr. Jabbia. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Construction, Ms. Tipton.
Thank you, Mr. Derman. The first item under construction is consideration of bids for Abney Elementary new cafetorium, school board project number 1425. We did receive these bids on April the 2nd, last week, and we're recommending the acceptance of the low base bids submitted by Max Construction Company Incorporated of Mississippi in the amount of $4,469,100 for this project.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion by Mr. Hersey? Second by? Second by Mr. Jeter. Any comments or questions by board members? Seeing none by the public. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So ordered. Thank you.
Thank you. Our second item is the Shatima Elementary School additions bids. These were received this week. We were disappointed. We received 3 bids, and all of them were over budget. So tonight we are recommending rejection of all bids submitted for this project, school board project number 1465, because all bids submitted are over the amount budgeted for the project.
Okay. Moved by Mr. Jeter, seconded by Ms. Seeley. Mr. Foles, do you have any comments?
No, just I want board members to know that we will be revisiting the plans, meeting with the people that put the bids in, meeting more with the administration to look at some other opportunities. We're certainly going to do the work, but it'll just have to be done in a little different manner than we originally hoped. We're talking about significantly over budget, close to $800,000 over budget, so we certainly need to look at revisiting this before we commit those kind of funds.
Okay, thank you. Any comments or questions by board members? Seeing none, any from the public? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So ordered. Thank you.
The next item is consideration of a resolution relative to the Community Development Block Grant funding. Mr. Loop is going to read this resolution for us, and I appreciate that. And maybe we'll do that, and then you'll give me the opportunity to explain about this.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Luke? You need a bottle of water?
No, I've got it. Thank you. A resolution setting forth the intent of the St. Anthony Parish School District to investigate the utilization of the property located at 224 Brakefield Street in Slidell, Louisiana, currently owned by the school district for a pupil appraisal center. Whereas the St. Anthony Parish School District submitted an application for reimbursement funding under the Community Development Block Grant Primary and Secondary Education Program from the Louisiana Office of Community Development Disaster Recovery Unit to construct a pupil appraisal center. And whereas plans and specifications were prepared to construct a pupil appraisal center, and whereas the bid received exceeded the amount of funds available to construct the proposed pupil appraisal center, and a portion of the allocated funds for the pupil appraisal center were reallocated to higher priority projects. And whereas the school district submitted a project amendment requesting the remaining funds for the pupil appraisal center be reallocated to the unobligated line item. And whereas now the school district has identified an existing property owned by the school district that could be a potential site for a pupil appraisal center. And now therefore be resolved that the St. Anthony Parish School District intends to pursue this location for a pupil appraisal center and desires to investigate the feasibility of building a new facility on this property, currently owned by the school district, located at 224 Brakefield Street in Slidell, Louisiana.
And you so move, Mr. Luke?
So moved.
So moved. Seconded by Ms. Bellisario. Okay.
Thank you. So in your packet tonight, you'll see behind that resolution on the 3rd page, just want to remind the board that this school system from the Community Development Block Grant Program has received $19.6 million, and those funds were put in place in addition to FEMA funding after the disaster of Hurricane Katrina and Rita to help make the system whole. And those funds have gone towards a number of projects, including new addition at Brock Elementary School, new addition at Madisonville Junior High School, and made up for funds that were not eligible for FEMA funding at Salmon High School, Madisonville Elementary, Brooks Curriculum Center, and Brock Elementary School. We have closed out those projects or are in the process of doing that, so all the funds relative to those projects are complete, and we now know that there is 1.6 million or a little bit more than that remaining, and it is unobligated. And we have asked the CDBG or the powers that be relative to these funds if we might be able to reapply and get these funds obligated towards a project. And they've indicated to us that we may do that, and that our best opportunity with those funds would be to go back and revisit a previous application, which was for pupil appraisal. And you may remember that pupil appraisal prior to the storms was located on a block next to Brock Elementary School. It was a 2-story building that was owned by the state. And after the storms, they were not able to go back into that building, and the state ultimately did something else with it. So they've been moving around since the storm, and we have an opportunity with some properties that we've been able to buy in that same block to look at the possibility of putting a facility there that could house some of the pupil appraisal staff again at the location that they were at prior to the storms. So this resolution is something that was requested as a first step towards putting that application together to reobligate these funds towards this purpose.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tipton. Are there any questions by board members regarding this issue? All right, seeing none. Mr. Foles, do you have any comments you'd like to add?
No, I just think to summarize, it's $1.6 million of money that's remaining, that's unobligated. We believe it's our best chance to get monies that were already to a project that was already in place. Pupil appraisal was in that building. Sharon, 60, 70, 80 people? 65 people, and they're now spread out at different locations. It would certainly be nice to bring them all back. It'd certainly be nice to participate in that part of Slidell in that area. It would certainly be nice with the location of Brock. So we just see this as opportunity. It does not commit us to doing anything other than moving to the next step, seeing if the monies are available. Certainly want to thank Cameron for staying on top of this and the relationships she has with the people that we work with to make sure that this money is available to us, and this is the first step requiring that, and we will keep you informed as we go along the way.
All right, thank you, Mr. Foles. Basically, we're in a position of either use it or lose it.
And we're just asking right now, right.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kuzan, yes, sir.
On this report, I'm looking at the classroom addition at Brock Elementary School. Has that been totally completed?
Yes, sir, it has been. They moved in this past school year.
Okay, and the funding is at the reimbursement of the funding for this project, right, is what you're talking about?
What is
It says in progress.
In
That's what it
progress, what
says,
does
in
that mean?
progress.
In progress is the closeout of the, all of the paperwork to close out the process of getting reimbursed. So we've determined the total amount.
The facility is complete, it's just the paperwork we're still working on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that being said, I think that's all the questions from board members, from the public. Seeing none from the public, all in favor say aye. Oppose, abstain, so ordered. Thank you. Ms. Tipton.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
The last item is the monthly construction report, and I just have a brief report for you. We have more jobs starting under construction. The contractor is making good progress at Madisonville Elementary classroom wing. They're working on electrical, mechanical, interior walls. They're really doing quite well there. They did get the building slab poured at Clearwood Junior High School addition, and the contractor for North Shore High has begun removing the gym floor, and they'll be starting the consumer science classroom renovation. Actually, they started this week. Slidell Junior High School, the HVAC replacement, that contractor is on site and is working and actually has a good bit of equipment on site now. We're under contract and we're beginning the procurement process for the Bonnie Cole HVAC project. Our contractor at Pontchartrain Elementary completed the temporary walkway for the school, and so now the school is completely separated from the two modular wings that we will be now removing so that that building site will become available. And they've already started at Chafunkta Middle with driving the piling for that new addition. At Covington High School, the contractor removed the ground chiller, and they're working on the new chiller foundation. And at Lyon Elementary School, that contractor moved in over spring break. They've already cleared the site, and they're scheduling for their test piling. And our Fontainebleau Junior High contractor has begun their site fencing, and they're about to pick up their building permit and get going. We have a meeting next week to look over the Mandeville Junior High project status. Our design teams for Pearl River High and Slidell High are working on their final documents. We've released designers to move forward with documents for Mayfield Elementary additions and Lancaster Elementary School additions. And the contractor for Woodlake Elementary School has installed the structure over the cover, for the covered driveway. And our North Shore High track base repair and track surface project will be starting in the next couple of weeks. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Busy again.
Yes, sir.
Getting ready to kick off in summer here before we know it, too. Yes, Ms. Bellisario.
Thank you. Just have a couple quick questions. On the Boyette Little Oak water sewer system tie-in, is there any particular state deadline that we have to have that done by?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so that's up to us. Okay.
Yes.
And on the North Shore project, the consumer sciences area, it looks like is a 90-day project.
Yes, I believe that is correct.
So are you looking for it to be ready for the start of school for any students that may have signed up for that?
It may go slightly into the new school year, but we've worked that out with the principals. So they're working the curriculum towards the end of this school year. They've already moved out into a portable and will do mostly book work. So lab work has already been done, and they'll do the same if they need to at the start of next school year.
That's great. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions regarding construction? Mr. Betancourt.
Thank you, Mr. Durman. Ms. Tipton, on the Woodlake, all those change orders have added, a little over 200,000 to that. Are we approaching being over budget or anything on this? And do any of those have to do with that first contractor that just couldn't complete the job?
I do not have the change orders with me here tonight, and certainly each and every change item that has been considered on this job has been reviewed by the architects, the staff. Some of these have come in play since our new contractor has come on board, and have been reviewed. We can get a more complete report, and certainly they were included in earlier reports to this board.
What's the total amount of the project?
The total amount of the project now is $3,200,000, and it started at about $3 million. So over the course of the job, yes, sir, there have been some changes.
But we have a cushion built in?
Yes, sir, we do. We always carry a contingency in our budgets internally.
Why don't you, it's a good time to just explain the whole change order process and how it works and how goes through you, me, and the
Yes,
limits.
sir. So when a change is determined to be needed on a job, it may be identified by the contractor, it may be identified by the owner or the architect, but a change proposal scope is written, it's given to the contractor, they come back with a breakdown of pricing, it's reviewed by the architects and engineers. Once the architects and engineers feel that that's a reasonable price for the work that needs to be done or added to the project, it's submitted to the construction department here, and we review each item as well. We may send it back to the architect with questions, but once we agree also, we recommend it, and it's reviewed by Mr. Folse for final approval to be included in a change order to the job. And they do have to provide complete breakdowns of material and labor as backup.
And we're
to
very,
any work.
I just want you to hear the whole process that involves, we're very tough on that. And certainly, there are times we even get credits sometimes on things as well. So,
I was just going to point that out. It seems like in the past, I've noticed that we've taken money off the table on some of those change orders and
Yes,
stuff.
sir.
those are the memos I like and encourage Cameron to send to me as much as possible.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions by board members? Seeing none. Ms. Tipton, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your job. Moving on to item 8, which is business affairs. Ms. Prevost.
To consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution authorizing the advertising for sealed bids for the purchase of general obligation school bonds, Series 2015 of St. Tammany Parish, wide School District Number 12 of the Parish of St. Tammany, State of Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Schluter is here to explain this and answer any questions you may have.
Okay, let me get a motion in a second, and then we'll let Grant do his talking. Moved by Ms. Seeley, seconded by Mr. Hersey. Thank you. Mr. Schluter.
Thank you. Grant Schluter with Foley Udell Bond Counsel. This is the third series of bonds from the 2013 election. This will be for $30 million. The resolution provides for bids to be received at a special meeting on Wednesday, May 20th at 11:30 a.m. The bonds will be delivered June 25th, and the funds will be on deposit and available for construction projects. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions by board members?
What was the date?
May 30th, May 20th. Well, I thought I was coming on May 30th.
All right, what's the date?
What's the date? Grant, what's the date?
It's Wednesday, May 20th at 11:30 a.m.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments by board members other than that one? Seeing none. Any comments by the public? All in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? So ordered. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Prevost.
A recommendation has been made by the Auditor Selection Committee. A memo is in your packets. The committee's recommendation to the superintendent is the CPA firm Laporte CPAs and Business Advisors. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Do we have a motion for that, or do we need one?
Yes.
We do need one. Moved by Mr. Harrell. Second by Ms. Drucker. Any questions or comments by board members? From the public? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? So ordered. Thank you. Item C, monthly purchasing report. Ms. Prevost.
The monthly purchasing report is in your packets, and Mr. Stevens is here to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Ms. Stevens? Ms. Bellisario? Wait, let me go to the machine. No, I'm just kidding.
I was just curious what the early childhood enrollment solution is for curriculum and instruction. What is it, and roughly how much is it? How much does it cost?
It's an online enrollment system for the early childhood networks to cover the district as well as the external sources. Right now, we don't. The estimate is probably 60 to 80,000 range, but we have to wait for the responses to be received before we know for sure.
Thank you, Ms. Bellisario. Any other comments or questions from board members? Seeing none. Thank you very much, Ms. Prevost. We're going to move to announcements from the president. Mr. Loop.
Thank you, Mr. Durman. There will be a reception on April 16th to honor the 2014-2015 Students of the Year, Support Employees of the Year, Substitute of the Year, beginning at 6 p.m. at Brooks Educational Complex. The regular board meeting will follow the reception at 7 p.m. at Brooks Educational Complex. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Loop. Thank you, Mr. Loop. Mr. Foles.
Yes, board members, if I could, I think you all received an email from the North Shore Technical and Community College that they will be having a groundbreaking ceremony at 11 a.m. tomorrow at their location on Highway 434 in Lacombe. Certainly encourage any of you that can come to that. We have a great partnership with them, and they certainly value our participation, so it's an exciting time for them. So if you're available, it's tomorrow at 11 a.m. on 434 in Lacombe.
Where on 434, Mr. Phillips? It's Coop?
Past the hospital.
Past the hospital.
About a couple miles.
296 Highway 434 past the hospital.
Two little ways past the hospital on the right.
Bring your umbrella. Meeting's adjourned. Good night.